Hi and welcome to day 37 of Counting the Omer, Gevura within Yesod. The week we are in the Yesod energy, we are truly being invited to have a deeper look inside our relationship with other people, but first of all, our relationship with God. If we think of God as a man in heaven, full of judgments towards us, that we see God as a punishing, strict father, what kind of consequence will this idea have on us if we think that God is something else than just pure love? This idea has been planted into us, into the human mind, for thousands of years. And it has caused really horrible consequences for us. Gevura, when it's in its shadow, it's full of fear. It's this feeling that we are a victim. And together with the Yesod, we become the victim of someone's abuse and the victim in the relationship with other people, but also a victim of God. Like we are someone God wants to punish, and we should be scared. So after thousands of years where this has been the mentality, imagine what kind of footprint that has left us with. How this is within our bodies, within our hearts and minds and sacral area. If we want to ascend, we need to let go of fear. We can't bring that vibration into the higher consciousness of who we are and what God really is. And a part of this work, this ascension work, is about healing our sacral chakra, healing how we are relating with ourselves, with other people, and with God. If we want to bring this into the earth element, into the physical body, the more day-to-day life, we can start looking at our relationship with other people, healing our attachment styles, healing our abandonment wounds and traumas, healing our victimized ideas and the lack mentality in relationship. Letting go of judgments towards ourselves and others, which is really the Gevura energy in the shadow aspect. So we need to work on all levels. We need to work in the physical world with our relationship with other people, with ourselves, with our bodies, with what we eat, and we need to work with our relationship with Mother Earth, which is our home now. while we are here. And when we have done that, we can start to have a look at our relationship with the mind, with the thinking. Are we slaves of old ideas and mental distortions? Are we allowing the mind to just fluctuate on its own, or do we become the master of the mind? What's the relationship you have with the mental aspect? Are you practicing being still and observing your mind, becoming the witness? Are you judging your mind? And how about your emotions? Are you judging your emotions? Have you developed this ability to observe them and release them? And what about your relationship with a higher self, your soul? What about your relationship with your father, your mother, or the people who raised you? What about your relationship with your neighbors? Your children, your partner if you have one? On the ascension process, we are being asked to have a deeper look into all our relationships and how we create and feed into old programming, old ways of relating with each other. And we are being asked to clear out all past wounds so that we can bring ourselves into oneness, into union, into the sacred marriage with our higher self, with the soul within, and then bring us into oneness with God. A way to change the mind in a way is to really tune into our mission and stepping into service, serving God. Take that responsibility that God actually sent you to earth right now to serve the highest good for everyone, to serve Mother Earth and the human consciousness to rise, so that we just detach and let go of all those human desires which are really not helping us much or serving the highest good. It requires from us that we do the hard work sometimes, taking a really deep, honest look within and taking responsibility where we can see that we are still feeding into suffering. We are still creating suffering not only for ourselves but also for other people. And that's really okay, because if we are not conscious enough to let that go and move forward and to make that, or those lost aspects of us, those fragment aspects of us, if we don't have the tools or we are not even aware of it, how can we become whole then? How can we integrate those lost aspects of our beings. So this whole work has to be done with love, with compassion, with allowance and time and patience. It cannot be done overnight. It can take years. And all those parts of us will come up to the surface, which are not whole, which needs healing and integration. So today I have this inspiration to move my body so the creativity can come through my sacral area. And I was so reminded about what yoga can do. After my yoga class yesterday, a student came to me and she told me, you know what I really love about yoga is that suddenly after a class I can have new ideas, I have new perspectives, I see things in a different light, and I'm a very mental person. I live my whole life in my mind in a way, but every time I do the yoga, suddenly I see myself having new ideas, I have new thoughts. So moving the body, allowing the energy to move within, it's important. So we don't become stagnant, because we are one. The body, mind, soul is one. And if we want to allow this Yesud, this creative life force to come through us, to be moved within us, one way is to really move the body, move the sacral, move the hips, go into nature or do yoga or whatever. Move the spine, move the breath. Some days this feels very natural, other days there is more stillness. So learning also how to be one with the energies and how the universe is influencing us is also part of this ascension process and this growing of the tree of life. One can look at this Yesud as the roots of a tree in a way. And if the roots are not strong and healed, but broken and fragile and not going deep into the soil, the whole tree will very easily fall over to the side if a strong wind comes in or there's a strong heat and dry during the summer season. The tree will easily die. So working with this Yesud, the lower chakras, is super important, and they need to be purified, and all those wounds have to be cleared out and released in order for the whole tree to become strong. Today I was reminded again about Kundalini awakening and how this can really be destructive if it happens too fast, if we have not really healed before we are moving upwards. It can be so overwhelming to the mind and too much energy moving. So taking the time, even though it takes years and years or lifetimes after lifetimes, but since you are here listening, you probably have done quite a lot of work already. There is so much wisdom out there where we can read about attachment styles and codependency, and there are so much help to receive. 12 steps programs when it comes to addiction. If you have any addictions in your life, whether it's to your phone or to sugar or alcohol or drugs or sex or whatever, it's probably because your yesod or your sacral area is not healed yet. Some wounds have been influencing your psyche. It's like this lack is influencing the whole tree, and what is lacking is love. It's about feeling safe. It's about feeling content within ourselves. And when we do that, when the sacral area, when the yesod is in its light, we feel fulfilled. We feel safe within our bodies. We feel content. We feel loved, like we are deeply loved by God within. But if we think that God is a punishing man and that we are doing something wrong all the time, we will go around and feel afraid, scared. And we will think of our lives as literally what we can read in the Genesis about Adam and Eve coming to life like they were punished. This is a very human way to look at something and to understand God. It's not a higher consciousness. If you read the Genesis and the story about Adam and Eve like it was literal. This is all about rising from an animalistic, like the snake, and the instincts and the sexual desires. It's about rising from that human childlike consciousness into a higher consciousness. From the snake crawling to the snake rising. And becoming someone who can very easily detect when our humanness, our instinctual animalistic side is running the program, so to speak, our ego mind. You know, the mind and the ego is a tool for us to use. We don't have to be run by the mind. But if we want to heal this, without love, without compassion, without releasing the judgments towards ourselves, we will just keep on creating even deeper wounds. We will hurt ourselves. So Gevura within Yesod can easily be turned into something beautiful. Like we have this, when the Gevura is in its light, it's so easy for us to know where to go, what to say no to, what to say yes to. Because we feel it energetically. No, this will not be supportive to either of us. This is not serving the highest good. So I say no to that person, or I hold back my love right now or my service right now, because my greatest service is actually to say no in this moment, so that person can grow on its own. It's not about putting up boundaries because we can't stand that person, or giving boundaries to people. It's not really about protecting ourselves. It can be, of course, but it's really about loving ourselves and that other person. We can say no to someone and still love them. It doesn't mean that they have done anything wrong. It's just that it's not in alignment, perhaps, or that person comes with a certain energy which is not purified yet. Maybe it's manipulative, and we don't want to allow ourselves to be manipulated. The more we get to know ourselves, the easier it is to detect when other people are in their shadows. So the Gevura can be a very beautiful mirror to people. We can say no to control and manipulation, so they have their manipulation and fear mirrored back to them. But we can do that from a place of love and compassion. And together with Yesod, within the Yesod, this can help us to direct where we are going into life, which person to go into a deep relationship with, to share intimacy with. And which one we should maybe step back and out from. Some people can hurt us, and we are not supposed to allow them to keep on hurting us. At the same time, we can still have unconditional love for them and for ourselves. For my part, practicing intimacy has been a very important journey, an important part of this awakening journey. And during the retreat this weekend, I was so reminded about what can come out of just sitting and eye gazing with another human being, and seeing that soul behind those beautiful eyes watching you. Sitting there eye gazing with someone and just allowing everything to come up, all the insecurities, sensing into that bond which is being created. We can do that. We don't need to have another human being to practice intimacy. We can go out into nature, or we can do it with an animal. All we need to do is to open up for the spirit within that being and sit with it. Be in that intimacy. Be in that love, that shared love between you and that animal or that tree or that flower. Imagine that flower is radiating love back to you. Are you able to open up and receive it? It's very hard for us to open our hearts fully, completely to another human being if we are having unconscious fears of being hurt, or being abandoned, or being separated. And most of us humans, we have some deep, deep unconscious fear of separation. And this is something that we need to overcome in a way, in order to feel whole and complete and content with ourselves and in relationship with other people. And maybe you're questioning, but how? You're talking about healing, you're talking about becoming whole, but how do I do that? Well, there are many different ways to do this. But for me, it's really about facing fears, not turning away from them, but trusting that life itself will bring me those situations and opportunities to feel. And every time I'm being rejected, for example, and if I have a response to that, I go into the feeling of rejection. And I embrace that feeling, like that feeling was a little child. And that child needs my presence and my love and my allowance to react. And so I sit with that child until I feel that something is changing within me, that this child suddenly feels safe and loved and cared for, embraced. And then sometimes I bring that child into heaven. I allow Mother Mary or God or whoever meets me there to bring that child home. Sometimes an animal comes in that wants to give me some medicine for that child. So I use my intuition, I use my creativity to go in, go within. And then I question my thinking. I question, I'm triggered right now. What is my thinking about this? What is my mindset about this situation? And then I go down into the roots and I question, is there any wound here influencing my thinking or how I respond to this situation? And if I don't understand, if I can't really see the link, I ask Spirit to show it to me. Sometimes I light candles in every 4 directions and I call in the archangels and I call in my spirit guides and my animal guides. And then I ask them, can you please show me where this is coming from? And sometimes it goes quickly, sometimes it takes me some days. And I really come to the root of many things. I've seen many things that I've never knew was even there. So it requires us to find our own ways and to use every situation which comes to us as an opportunity to heal and integrate. I hope that was somehow helpful. If you feel that it could be useful to have some help or some guidance in that, you are mostly welcome to book a session with me or go online, figure out how can I heal this, how can I work with this. There are so many good therapists. I prefer people who work with the body as well, not only just going to a psychologist who's only working with the mental aspect. And if they are spiritual as well, that's an even greater mix of consciousness that I prefer. And I have discovered that many of these therapists, they are also awakening. They also have had some sort of spiritual awakening, and they are on this mission of helping with their tools. So there is so much help we can have, but as we ascend, I think most of us learn and see that we have so much wisdom within ourselves that we actually know how to heal things. It just requires us to be quite brave and to go within. So before running outside of ourselves and trying to find someone who can fix us, go within. Ask for help. Go into ceremonies or go into deep meditations and ask for help from within. And I can promise you, you will be surprised how much help you can actually receive from just asking. Okay, I think I will conclude this beautiful day of Gevura within Yesod. May life show you today how much you have grown, how much you have actually released and integrated, how easy it is for you now to see what's right for you, to feel your intuitive inner guidance system, because that's also about Yesod. Archangel Gabriel is working with this energy chakra, giving us intuitive guidance from within, working with our emotions. So I wish you all the best and good luck. And if you need help, call upon Archangel Gabriel. With the Gevura, the Archangel Chamuel is working, which is the healer of the heart and the healer of relationships. So together those two archangels can really help us today. And just by saying the Chamuel, there is something going on. Immediately something happens within my heart. It's this beautiful, beautiful energy coming with Chamuel. So may Chamuel be with you today, and working with Gabriel together. They can heal so much. And if you want to get to know this archangel better, there are so many meditations and transmissions on YouTube. Just go online, search if you want to go deeper into that. Okay. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.